Hey guys, what is up? Welcome to installment 4 of Live at 5. See what I did there? I named the damn thing finally for everybody. I know there were votes for Lockered Live, but I realized our good friend Frank Lopes does Lopes Live. I figure it's a little too close to Lockered Live. Live at 5 is what we're going with. Sorry about that. I had an incoming call. Today what I want to talk about, and I won't take up too much time. I know we're in that Bermuda Triangle of the few days between Christmas and New Year's. But our director of marketing, Brian Stroka, mentioned something to me about a week ago, and it got me thinking. It took me a while to answer the question of, hey, have you mentioned on the lives why you're talking about emotional intelligence and why it's important? What is up, Dan Webb? Good to hear from you, brother. I first I was pissed at him because I was in the middle of writing out thoughts for the live last week, and it threw my head for a loop, and I got off track. But thank you, Dad. I'm glad you approve of the name. But he made a good point, so I want to talk about that today. Before I get too far, into too far down the rabbit hole of talking about emotional intelligence and obviously we've already had 3 episodes talking about it. I want to get into where it came from, what got me started on this, and of course why it's important to dealerships and why it's important in the automotive retail world, and really why it's important in any business for that matter. But what really got me started on it was Gary Vee. I'm a big Gary Vee fan, and I try to absorb as much of his content as possible. And if you don't, I implore you to. If the language is a little rough for you, then tough. Just push through it and realize that the message is what's important, and forget about the delivery. But anyway, I stumbled across a 3.5-minute clip of Gary Vee at a conference, and the title of it was "You Might Need to Fire Your Best Employee." So that right there pulled me in. I'm like, well, that's interesting. Let's see what he has to say. And what the video really turns into is a discussion on the importance of emotional intelligence, obviously right now, but, even more so at an increasing rate over the next 10, 20, 30 years. The points that he made in this video were, one, primarily that the speed at which you conduct business, and when I mean conduct business, I mean the speed at which you conduct transactions, the speed at which you communicate, the speed at which you deliver your product or service is really what's going to drive the success or failure of your company over the next 10, 20, 30 years. Along those same lines, he talked about how the main detriment to the speed and efficiency of your company, whether it be a good or a service that you provide, is drama, is BS among your team members, among managers, from the top down, just BS, conflict, anything that goes down the good or the service that you are providing to your customer is going to kill your company over the next 10, 20, as I said, 30 years, far into the future when technology really starts getting wacky on us. And along those same lines, he starts talking about the one way to address this isn't through, skills. As technology advances here, those skills or learned skills are going to be commoditized pretty good. You talk about AI and really just, everything that's going on. And again, the things that we don't even know about that are going to happen. So, I'll steal a quote that he uses from it. He says, "We are on the dawn of emotional intelligence becoming the single most important trait." Now really think about that. It's not about skills. It's not about, I have this degree or I have this knowledge of this computer program. It's about how you interact with other human beings. So basically it goes on throughout the video to really do an audit of your company. It's not just about finding and identifying new people to join your team that fit some of the characteristics that we've talked about here and will continue to talk about. It's about going in and digging in, rolling up your sleeves and doing the dirty work and checking to see if the people that you currently have on your staff are fitting this mold, are emotionally intelligent, or at least making attempts and strives to better themselves in these areas. And that's where the message from the video and the title of the video kind of came full circle. It could be your best producer. It could be your most productive employee. you might have to let them go, because what you realize is nobody can stand this person, and they're slowing everybody else down, and they're dragging everybody else down. They might be successful, they're not great, but you might be missing out on a lot of other opportunities simply because this person is slowing down the speed at which you conduct business with all their drama. He even goes so far as to say his number two at his company, somebody he calls his chief heart officer, which, I thought was kind of cool. It might be a little hokey for you, but the point is, it doesn't matter what their title is, HR manager, whatever you want to call them. The person that has a pulse on the personalities of everyone that is a part of your team, the climate on the sales floor in the case of the dealership, there should be somebody that knows what's going on, and then has a voice within that organization to be able to relay this information to the leaders, to the people at the tops, so that they can hear what is going on, what people are actually saying, what really motivates these people that make up your team and are going to determine your success or failure here over the next, again, like I said, 10, 20 years. Now, a big part of this, and something I just mentioned, is I mentioned taking the climate. Well, that feeds into culture. Everyone wants to talk about culture. It's a big buzzword. The problem is we see a lot of people trying to affect changes in their culture within an organization by doing Taco Tuesday or throwing in a vending machine or throwing in a food table. That's not culture. That's not how you establish the culture of a dealership, how you establish the culture of any organization. You establish culture by finding leaders and you yourself being a leader that embraces some of these concepts that I've talked about and will continue to talk about that regard to emotional intelligence. And then, of course, like I said, it's also identifying these characteristics in new members of your team, and also finding the ones that don't meet these characteristics and telling them, hey, thanks for everything. You got to find something else to do with your life. And then, of course, fostering an environment within that dealership, within your company, that encourages individuals to grow in these areas. No one's perfect. It's okay if you look at someone and they're not checking this box, and this box, but you can about it, they're receptive to it, and they know the changes they have to make, and then you start seeing those changes. You need to make an environment where people can grow as human beings, both for their productivity at work, but more importantly, just to be a better person. I've talked on the last few lives about the interaction between personal life and professional life. They're not separate at all. There's no separation there. A better performing employee will be a better human being at home in a lot of cases, if they're truly better performing. For not just talking about bottom line and numbers, we're talking about emotional intelligence, and we're talking about them truly caring about the organization, caring about the people that they work with and the people that they work for. I was at a conference down at David Villa's company in Tampa, Florida, a couple months ago, and a theme that kept coming up and a number of speakers mentioned was, it was a rhetorical question: who is, as a manager, as a leader, as an owner of a dealership, who is your first customer? And a lot of people would, say, it's the salespeople, or et cetera, et cetera. And it's no, it's the person directly below you. It's your employees. Your employees are your customer. You need to treat your employees the way you expect them to treat your customers. And it just all trickles down from there. So again, it starts at the top. And if you're not identifying the right people to lead your store, then it's going to fall out. It's going to fall in the chain of command, and you're not going to see the results that you want all the way down at, like I said, the salesperson level and the way that they treat your customers. Now, why did I choose this to talk about within our company and within the automotive industry? Well, I as a son of what do you call yourself, Dad? What are we, a 50-year car guy at this point, I guess? Maybe close to 60, 55-year car guy. Anyway, I've heard a ton of stories. We get a lot, and we get into it on the Recruiter podcast a lot, about the way things used to be, or things that he used to see in a dealership. We all have a good laugh at it. But the bottom line is, unfortunately, maybe not to that extreme, but a lot of that stuff's still going on in a dealership. And they need to change right now. And we, as recruiters in the automotive industry who are identifying people for our dealerships, we've in the past year alone placed over 6,000 individuals in various roles in dealerships all over the country. We felt an obligation to start affecting this change through the culture. And of course, culture is affected through the people. As I just mentioned, the people that you identify as new team members, and of course, the people that unfortunately you need to let go because they're hurting the culture and the environment within your store. So that's why we went down this road. And again, I don't want you to take this as me being preachy and saying this needs to change, this needs to change. We suck as an industry. Any of my team members will tell you that when I choose a topic for one of our conference calls, the first thing I usually say to them is, I chose this because I feel like I need work on it. So when we came up with this idea of emotional intelligence, and we started making these changes within, our organization because we wanted to practice what we preach, obviously. And if we're out trying to identify these types of individuals for all of our clients, sure that we're doing the same thing internally. The Automax is finding these people internally, and we're affecting our culture to provide a better service to our clients. And we have. I've mentioned it a couple times now, and I'm okay with patting ourselves on our back. We're just wrapping up our best year as a company in 23 years, and I really don't think it's in any small part because of these changes we've made and this entire concept and idea of emotional intelligence. So we are practicing what we preach. I want to make sure everybody understands that. And again, I want to make sure that you understand that anytime I pick something to talk about, it's because I know myself needs to work on it as well. When I first started researching this and started after watching that video and what the hell is emotional intelligence, I started reading it. I'm like, wow, this is really cool. I stink at a lot of this. I'm not good at a fair amount of this, and I need to start working on it myself. And I really have. And it's like I said, it's not just professionally, although we certainly have, and I've made a point of implementing internally. I've adapted it to my professional life as well, and it's really helped, especially with my kids. I got 3 small kids, and it requires a lot of patience, but it's really helped me stay in the moment and become more self-aware and stay more patient with them. It's helped with my wife as well. Obviously, anyone who's married knows it's a challenge. It takes a lot of work to stay together with someone you love and spend your entire life with them and make sure you're meeting their needs. And it's really helped me to be more attentive with my wife. And for any husbands out there, I'm sure you know how important it is to be attentive and to truly listen and truly understand and be empathetic to what your wife is saying. So again, I keep beating it home. This isn't just stuff to go out and sell more cars or make more money. This is truly, truly important concepts to make you a better human being. And that's really what we're trying to do. And as I said, as what we feel, the leading recruiting company within the automotive industry, we felt a responsibility to pass this on to our clients and affect change within the industry. That's kind of all I have for today. Like I said, I didn't want to be too heavy. I just, again, wanted to kind of tell you the why I'm going to be talking about this stuff, why I've already talked about it for the past 3, and I'm going to keep going, and you're going to keep hearing about it from me. And if you get sick of it, too bad. Again, I'll move on pretty quick here. I know everybody wants to get to that weekend and get a couple days, good days in before we go back to a holiday with New Year's Eve. Sports this weekend, go Buckeyes. I saw a lot of Buckeyes hate on Facebook today. I don't know what the hell that's all about, but bring it on. I felt like a scene in Star Wars where the Emperor's saying, good, let the evil flow through you, let the hate flow through you. So go ahead and hate everybody. I like the Buckeyes 37-31 on Saturday. Everyone enjoy the games, enjoy the other semifinal as well. And then I want to talk real quick. Sorry, Brian. There's an I-O. I can only do 2. Don't keep saying H-O-O-H, everybody. I'm going to talk about New Year's real quick, too. If you're going out for New Year's Eve, for the love of God, call Uber. Just call anybody. Between Uber, Lyft, ride shares, whatever else the crazy millennials are coming up with out there, there is zero excuse for anyone to ever drive drunk ever again. If you're going to drink New Year's Eve, please, 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 get yourself a ride home. It's really easy. My wife and I and Automax as a company are big advocates of designated driver programs. The Hero program in South Jersey. We do the Hero Walk in Ocean City every year. We donate as a company. We donate money to the organization, And really, seriously, there's zero reason for anyone to drink and drive. But enjoy yourself. Everyone have a happy new year. Love you guys, and I will talk to everyone next Friday at 5 o'clock. Thanks.